These subtle gestures that drive a man crazy about you. Hello. In this first part, we will explore in depth the impact of simple, natural, and often unconscious gestures. These gestures may seem ordinary, but they create very strong emotional reactions in a man's mind. They awaken interest, stimulate attachment, reinforce admiration, and trigger a form of desire that is anything but superficial. This script aims to present these behaviors in a clear, concrete, and accessible way, so you can understand how certain attitudes, sometimes very light, have the power to leave a lasting mark on a man. The first gesture is the way you create a soft presence around you. It is not what you say, it is not what you consciously do. It is what you radiate when you enter a room. A calm energy, a subtle smile, a steady gaze. Men are extremely sensitive to the way a woman occupies space. When your attitude expresses a combination of quiet confidence and natural kindness, it instantly creates a magnetic effect. A man will remember your presence before he remembers your words. This type of energy, subtle but noticeable, awakens in him a feeling of effortless attraction. The second gesture is the way you listen to him. Many people hear without truly listening. A woman who really listens, without interrupting, without judging, without preparing her next sentence, naturally draws a man's interest. He feels he can settle, open up, and be himself. Attentive listening is an underestimated gesture because it requires more than time. It requires presence. For a man, feeling that a woman notices the nuances in his words, the hidden emotions behind what he shares, or the details he doesn't always dare to reveal, creates a deep connection. Listening is an invisible gesture, but it transforms the entire relational dynamic. The third gesture is how you use light touch. Not intentional or seductive touch, but the one that naturally fits into the moment. A hand resting briefly on his forearm, a short contact as you pass by, adjusting a piece of clothing without thinking about it. These gestures have a powerful effect because they bypass the rational mind and go straight to the emotional system. For a man, a light touch is never insignificant. He interprets it as a sign of openness, closeness, and sometimes even acceptance. These subtle signals show that you feel comfortable with him, that you do not reject the possibility of deeper intimacy, while staying within something perfectly healthy and natural. The fourth gesture is your authentic smile. Not a forced smile, not a social smile, but a sincere smile that brightens your face when you share a pleasant moment. Men are extremely sensitive to this type of smile because it makes them feel like they are the cause, even indirectly, of that positive emotion. A genuine smile acts as an instant emotional link. It shows that you enjoy being in his presence, and it creates a warm atmosphere in which a man feels valued. A sincere smile is not trivial. It becomes a mental anchor that he will remember for a long time. The fifth gesture is the way you respect your space and your boundaries. A woman who knows how to say no, who knows her worth, who is not afraid to be clear about what she accepts or refuses, attracts an emotionally mature man. This self-respect sends a strong message: you are not here to fill a void, you are not here to sacrifice yourself, you are not here to please at any cost. You are here because you choose to be. A man is deeply fascinated by a woman who possesses both gentleness and solid boundaries. It makes him want to respect you, protect you, and give you genuine attention. The sixth gesture is the way you value his efforts. Men function a lot through action. When he does something, even something simple, and you notice the effort behind the gesture, it feeds his pride and his sense of usefulness. You do not need to exaggerate, to overreact, or to flatter him artificially. A sincere comment, a look, a genuine thank you is enough. This gesture creates a positive emotional loop in which he feels encouraged, recognized, and important. A man feels close to a woman who notices what he does, even in the small things. The seventh gesture is your ability to be light-hearted. Not superficial, but emotionally light. Moments of laughter, spontaneity, and simplicity deeply touch a man because they are rare. Life is often heavy, responsibilities are demanding, and daily pressure builds up. When a woman brings softness, humor, or a natural form of lightness, she becomes an emotional refuge. A man truly falls in love with the woman he feels good with. Lightness is not a sign of naivety. It is a sign of inner strength. The eighth gesture is the way you create simple but memorable moments. An honest conversation in a quiet place. An unexpected gesture of tenderness. A way of sharing a moment without artifice. These moments may seem ordinary at the time, but they imprint themselves deeply in a man's memory. A man does not fall in love because of one spectacular moment. He falls in love because of a series of small, sincere, authentic, real moments. The ninth gesture is your authenticity. This may seem obvious, but it is one of the most powerful elements. When you don't play a role, when you don't try to manipulate, when you embrace who you are with serenity, you become magnetic. Men instinctively recognize authenticity. It is an energy that attracts effortlessly, that calms, that inspires trust. An authentic woman is rare, and that rarity creates deep attachment. The 10th gesture is the way you take care of yourself without making him the center of your life. When a man sees that a woman keeps her passions, her friends, her projects, her personal routines, she becomes much more attractive. Not because she is unavailable, but because she exists independently of him. A woman who lives for herself, who nurtures her own life, who does not abandon herself in the relationship, creates a powerful emotional balance. The man then feels that if he wants to be part of your world, he must rise to the occasion. The 11th gesture is the way you speak to him in difficult moments. When you remain calm, when you express what you feel without shouting, without blaming, without attacking, you bring him into an emotional space he may have never known before. Men are sensitive to calm communication because it allows them to remain open. A woman capable of expressing her emotions without aggression creates a deep bond based on emotional safety. The 12th gesture is your gaze. A gaze held a few seconds longer, a gaze that listens, a gaze that softens when he shares something important. The gaze is one of the most powerful nonverbal gestures. It transmits intention, connection, and a direct access to your emotions. When your eyes show that you truly see the man in front of you, he feels recognized in his deepest masculinity. The 13th gesture is the way you respect his pace. Men do not always move at the same emotional speed as women. A woman who does not rush, who does not force, who leaves space for the man to come toward her, creates a very strong dynamic of attraction. Respecting a man's rhythm is subtle but extremely valuable. It shows that you understand his psychology without needing to control anything. The 14th gesture is your silence. Not a heavy or distant silence, but a peaceful silence. The ability to share a moment without words, without discomfort, creates a very powerful intimate connection. Many men do not know how to put their emotions into words, but they deeply feel comfortable silences. It is in these silences that they sense authentic connection. The 15th gesture is how you accept his imperfections. Without excusing them, but without condemning him. When a man feels he can be imperfect in front of you without being instantly rejected, humiliated, or invalidated, he forms an emotional attachment. Acceptance is a subtle but deeply moving gesture. It creates a space in which he feels able to love and be loved. The 16th gesture is your emotional courage. Your ability to be vulnerable, to say what you feel, to express your needs. Many women think that showing vulnerability makes them weaker. In reality, a mature man admires a woman who expresses her emotions sincerely. It opens the door to a deeper and more stable connection. The 17th gesture is the way you encourage him. When you acknowledge his value, when you believe in his projects, when you show him that you see in him a man capable of achieving great things, it creates a very powerful form of attachment. Men grow closer to women who give them strength, not to those who diminish them. The 18th gesture is your ability to be yourself in all situations. Not only in good moments, but also in moments of discomfort. This consistency builds trust, and trust builds desire. This first part reveals the strength of authentic, balanced, and grounded femininity. In the second part, we will explore even more subtle gestures, the ones that live in silence, the ones that transform a new connection into a lasting bond, and the ones that make a man unable to get you out of his mind. In this second part, we will dive deeper into the gestures, attitudes, and subtle behaviors that have an even greater impact on male psychology. Some gestures seem so simple that you might think they don't matter. Yet, it is precisely these nuances, these small attentions, and this emotional consistency that gradually transform a man's interest into true attachment. This part explores more subtle, internal, and sometimes less visible dimensions, but they are extremely powerful for creating a lasting connection. The first gesture in this section is your ability to create an emotional atmosphere in which he feels understood. Many men are not used to feeling understood. They have learned to appear strong, silent, independent. When a woman shows intuitive understanding, when she senses what he feels without necessarily naming it, she creates a rare space. This gesture is not a concrete action. It is a quality of presence that gives a man the feeling that he can finally lay down what he carries. The second gesture is the way you respond to his vulnerabilities. When a man reveals a doubt, a fear, or a flaw, his perception of you changes. If he feels judged, devalued, or if he senses that you detach from him, he will shut down. But if you welcome his vulnerability with softness, respect, and calm, you trigger a very solid form of attachment. This gesture is silent, but it stays engraved in his emotional memory. The third gesture is the subtle way you allow a man to feel protective without making yourself dependent. Men naturally like to protect, support, and help. This does not mean sacrificing themselves or dominating. It means contributing to your comfort and well-being. When you allow him to be useful, when you accept his help, when you show that you appreciate what he does for you, you awaken this instinctive part of him. This gesture touches him deeply because it gives him a place in your life while fully respecting your independence. The fourth gesture is how you share your positive emotions. Many people can easily express what bothers them, but they forget to share what feels good. When you tell him what you enjoyed in a conversation, what you appreciated in a moment spent together, or what moved you in a situation, you offer him a window into your inner world. Shared positive emotions strengthen the bond. This simple gesture is often neglected, yet it deeply nurtures attachment. The fifth gesture is your natural rhythm. A woman who moves at her own pace, who does not speed up to please or slow down to reassure, creates a very attractive balance. Your rhythm shows autonomy, maturity, and confidence in the future. A man feels instinctively drawn to a woman who doesn't rush and doesn't force things. Respecting your own rhythm creates a stable and healthy dynamic. The sixth gesture is the way you turn ordinary moments into pleasant ones. It can be a light conversation, a tender gesture, a spontaneous remark. The ordinary is where deep attachment is built. When a man realizes he feels incredibly good with you in simple moments, without effort or performance, his heart naturally opens. This gesture is discreet, but it acts like emotional glue. The seventh gesture is your ability to let go. Many people think control is reassuring. In reality, what reassures a man is a woman who can let go when things don't go as planned. When you show flexibility, adaptability, or even humor in the face of the unexpected, he feels a sense of freedom by your side. This gesture shows that you are stable inside, and that stability is extremely attractive. The eighth gesture is your respect for his independence. A man needs space. Not from lack of love, but from natural balance. When you respect his passions, his schedule, and his need for alone time, you show that you understand how he functions. This respect is not spectacular, but it creates a smooth and harmonious relationship. A man becomes crazy about a woman who lets him breathe without feeling rejected. The ninth gesture is emotional consistency. Men are sensitive to sudden changes, unpredictable reactions, and ambiguity. A woman who expresses her emotions clearly, calmly, and consistently becomes a pillar. This consistency creates safety, which allows a man to open up. This gesture is powerful because it works silently, day after day, until he realizes he can rely on you. The 10th gesture is the way you express admiration. Men need to feel admired, not to inflate their ego, but to feel that they bring something meaningful to the relationship. When you recognize a quality in him, a strength, an effort, or even a way of being, you awaken a deep sense of pride in him. This gesture nurtures his attachment because he feels valued in your presence. The 11th gesture is your ability to establish calm communication. Difficult conversations should not become battlefields. A woman who speaks calmly, who chooses her words, who expresses what she feels without accusations, creates a space where the man does not need to defend himself. This gesture transforms the relationship dynamic. It shows him that you can navigate conflict with maturity. The 12th gesture is your natural femininity, the one that does not try to imitate, seduce, or prove anything. Authentic femininity is not a style or a behavior. It is a way of being, made of inner elegance, softness, and quiet strength. When a man perceives this femininity, he feels a deep and instinctive attraction. This gesture is purely energetic. The 13th gesture is the care you give to your inner world. A man notices when a woman cultivates her peace, balance, reflections, and values. He senses that you have a rich inner life. This gives you a unique aura. A man falls in love with the woman who nourishes her soul, not just her appearance. This gesture is invisible, but it has a huge impact. The 14th gesture is how you manage your expectations. Unrealistic expectations create pressure, frustration, and distance. Balanced expectations create fluidity, trust, and closeness. When you allow space for natural flow, when you don't project too far too fast, you allow the man to invest at his own pace. This gesture soothes his fear of failure. The 15th gesture is the way you create memories. No need for exotic trips or big adventures. The most meaningful memories are often the simplest ones. A late-night conversation, an unexpected laugh, a peaceful walk. When you are present in these moments and bring a specific emotional tone to them, you imprint yourself in his memory in a lasting way. This gesture builds an invisible thread between the two of you. The 16th gesture is how you manage moments of distance. Sometimes a man goes through a difficult period, withdraws, or takes space. A woman who does not panic, who does not dramatize, who does not fall into insecurity instantly, becomes very attractive. This gesture shows that you understand masculine cycles and that you are not threatened by them. This calm creates profound admiration. The 17th gesture is your ability to celebrate who he is today without waiting for him to change tomorrow. Many men fear being loved for their potential rather than for who they truly are. When they feel that you fully accept them in the present, their attachment becomes much stronger. This gesture removes enormous pressure and creates natural intimacy. The 18th gesture is your relational warmth. A warm woman does not dominate the space. She doesn't overact. She doesn't force anything. Her warmth is natural, human, soothing. This gesture attracts a man because it gives him emotional safety. With a warm woman, a man does not need to protect himself constantly. The 19th gesture is your ability to stay mysterious while remaining accessible. Mystery is not a game or manipulation. It simply means you do not reveal everything, you keep parts of yourself to be discovered, you move with modesty. Men love to discover, explore, understand. Authentic mystery creates lasting attraction. It makes him want to know you in depth. The 20th gesture is the way you embody your value without arrogance. A woman who knows she deserves respect, tenderness, and attention, but remains humble, creates a very strong attraction. Men perceive this combination as a perfect balance between confidence and softness. This gesture signals that you are stable within yourself. The 21st gesture is your ability to be patient. Men can sense when you let time do its work, when you don't rush, when you don't force emotions. Patience creates an emotional ground where attachment can grow naturally. This gesture is rarely mentioned, but it is fundamental. The 22nd gesture is the way you share your joy. A joyful woman brightens a man's life. Not a forced joy, but sincere, simple, authentic joy. When you let this joy inhabit you, even briefly, you become a source of positive energy. Men attach themselves to the woman who makes their mind feel good without even trying. The 23rd gesture is your respect for your own past. You are not ashamed of it, you don't hide it, but you don't let it control your present. This mature relationship with your past creates emotional depth. A man admires a woman who has lived, learned, and moved forward without bitterness. The 24th gesture is the way you honor your future without imposing it. A man likes walking beside a woman who has direction, meaning, and vision. But he also appreciates when this woman invites him into that future without forcing anything. This gesture creates a soft, inspiring, and motivating dynamic. The 25th gesture is your ability to restore harmony. After tension, disagreement, or a mistake, the way you return to calm, connection, or tenderness determines the strength of the relationship. This gesture shows that you value the relationship more than pride. This second part reveals the importance of subtle gestures, quiet attitudes, and deep emotional dynamics. When a woman embodies these gestures sincerely, she becomes naturally irresistible. Not because she tries to please, but because she creates a space where a man can love fully and deeply. Thank you, and see you soon for another video.